Hello everyone and welcome back to part 7 of our F1 24 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. We're back in Europe for the first time this campaign. If you missed out on the video that went live quite late yesterday evening from Miami, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. And I just wanted to say as well, thank you to all of you, obviously during those 2 sprint weekends, that kind of gave me your thoughts and feedback about whether you wanted them split out into 1 or 2 videos. Yep, from now on, I hear you loud and clear. We will be keeping them as one slightly chunkier edit of a video as well. But yeah, take a look though at the Drivers' Championship as we head into this one. George Russell 1 point ahead of Charles Leclerc at the moment as we head into Europe. The battle behind Max Verstappen is still very, very exciting to say the least there as well. And, you know, trying to compare and contrast between this series, obviously, and our driver career mode, Zhou Guanyu, I think, is the really big shock so far. He's been doing absolutely bits in that series, but here, still yet to score a point after the opening quarter of a season. Let's head out then onto the circuit here from Imola. I am going through now trying to change up some of the livery designs on the car because I've read those as well. You guys hate this thing. Get yourself subscribed if you're new. We're trying to hit 2.5k subs at the moment, and let's do this thing.
Hello and welcome to Imola, the home of Ferrari, the home of the Tifosi. We're about to get ready for practice, and it's great to have you with us.
Well, as we head out then into a very, very soggy practice here from Imola, yeah, you can see we've got an all-new design on the car. I have got rid of all those little galaxy bits and pieces themes in the game. I didn't realise actually at the time, but you guys obviously have been telling me, really, really disappointed in EA on this one. The fact that you get one livery that you can't really do a lot of design changes with ready for my team there. Obviously, you can buy the podium pass, you get the free podium pass as well. But the fact that effectively they've locked all that stuff behind a paywall, I'm really, really angry and disappointed with, to be completely honest, because, let's be fair, the customization options inside the F1 game aren't that great anyway. The fact that they've suddenly limited them a lot, I mean, you look at F1 Manager, what they're allowing their, you know, sort of players to do inside their next game, light years above what EA and Codis are allowing on these. Mini rant over, though. Imola, hopefully, is going to be a bit of a stronger circuit for us. This first season of my team, I can already tell, I think is going to be really, really difficult to try and score points very often, unless we end up with another Albert Park. So we've got to try and enjoy the circuits we're stronger at least. And then making our way at the final corner. Is this going to be a completely purple score? I think it is. We've done very, very well there. That's the way to kickstart the weekend. Absolute perfection. Well, making our way then through the final corner of our ERS management. Really odd. Haven't used it at all on this lap. And we're not going to get the purple score. I don't think. There we go. It just sneaks in the end. We really do need that R&D at the moment, so I'm happy we got that locked in. Well, I guess we get a nice look at the car from a third-person perspective, following Ayumu Asa around on some laps. Hopefully he's not going to get in the way of me doing our race simulation run. But yeah, we've got obviously a lot of orange, as you would hope. A little bit of black and a little bit of silver then on the design. It's still pretty basic. You know, maybe down the line we'll start looking at obviously some mods as well. But you guys know me, inside the first season of all our career modes, we always have an absolutely terrible livery. It's kind of part of the magic of, you know, a first season on an all-new F1 game then, as we make our way down in towards the final few corners. Come on, Ayumu. You got to get out of the way, sunshine. We'll get down the inside of him. Ooh, a little bit sketchy. He will finally back out, though, so despite all that, 4 seconds up on our first lap of race sim. It should be pretty easy.
Welcome to the circuit named for Ferrari. It is qualifying at a special arena for motorsport. Welcome to Imola.
Well, I really am hoping as we return to one of Formula One's more higher downforce circuits that is going to be a good sign for us here. This car, like I said, in the wet conditions felt really, really good in Friday. So I'm hoping we can try and carry that pace into Saturday afternoon there. As with a new paint scheme, hopefully that is going to, you know, add some new pace to the car as well. Maybe a bit less paint. Perhaps we should have gone, you know, kind of exposed carbon everywhere just to try and bring the weight of the car down just a little bit more. But as always, of course, the first goal is to try and beat Ayumu. But I really do want to believe this weekend we can try and beat some other cars as well. Like I said, when you get a lap nailed around here, it is super satisfying. It's a 10th up on Owasso in Sector 1. That's often actually my weakest sector of the lap as well. Slide on the exit of Aqua Minerale. I think I've used a little bit too much battery, though, over the course of this lap so far, as we do a hop, skip, and a jump over the curbs. Nicely on the throttle on the exit there. 3/10 up currently on Owasso, who, to the surprise of nobody, is down in last place. But yeah, definitely have used just a little bit too much battery around the first half of the lap there as we make our way through the Ravazzas. At the final turn, power up towards the line. What is the first time going to be? 16-1, P21. Lance Stroll, though, only in 18th place in that Aston Martin. Well, to be fair, after the first runs have been all done and dusted, we're only about 4/10 away from a big cluster of cars. So I think 4/10 would leave us like P13 after the first runs here. So if we're just a little bit more proficient with our battery management, maybe, just maybe, we can find that time there. We'll save a little bit of extra energy down in towards turn 1. See if we can try and gather it back up again. Then we need to concentrate, though, on this lap. As you can see, immediately then trying to use a little bit of that charge up into the Gilles Villeneuve chicane. Imola, yeah, it's so fun. It feels a little bit unrealistic on this year's title because you can take so much curb everywhere. But yeah, over one lap in a car that's struggling. And I'm expecting as qualifying 1 comes to an end, that's going to be completely irrelevant. Obviously, this series, we only do have the one-shot qualifying as 4/10 up at the moment. So this will be a really nice improvement if we can hang on to it. Sorry, not one-shot qualifying, one session qualifying even. It is just that 1 18-minute chunk. As over the chicane we go again. See if we can try and roll on that battery a little bit early there, and you can see the time we're able to find. Half a second up at the moment, then a Stroll still down on a 1:15.9. So hopefully we're going to try and boost ourselves up the order here. One more corner to go. Don't bottle it like we did in the driver career mode. 6/10 up as we make our way towards the start-finish line. That's a big improvement. It's P12. I am happy with that. Well, I think we can be pretty happy there at the end of qualifying. Half a tenth away from Max Verstappen, who has an absolute disaster here, as Sergio Perez will take pole ahead of both Ferraris in their home race. But yeah, Verstappen down in P10, Stroll down in P19, shame Ayumu's still in last, despite all of those other drivers having issues, but so close to points, theoretically, by the end of Saturday. Let's hope we can try and keep the pace up.
Welcome once again to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo and Dino Ferrari. The clue is in the name. This is very much Ferrari home turf, and the locals will be out in force today to support their team in what we hope will be a magnificent spectacle of motorsport. On then to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. 3.1 miles of track at Imola, featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula 1 tracks as it's driven anti-clockwise. Let's hope nobody forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight on the circuit, and it's only DRS zone. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. It's Sergio Perez on pole today. A very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Bottas, Verstappen, Joe, Mr. Monaco, Gasly, Albon, Hamilton, Magnussen, Sargent, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Ocon, Ricciardo, and Ayumu Iwasa. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. We welcome to the commentary box Anthony Davidson. I'm Alex Jakes. We're both looking forward to a really intriguing race today. Things seem comfortable, they seem stable right now. That's a positive, but do they need to be pushed to the next level?
Well, that's the thing, you know, as a driver, it's easy to feel like you're the individual. It's all about you, and, you know, you want to further your career the best you can, but you have to have the team hat on as well and play the team game, work with your teammate as best you can. It's not an easy balance to figure out.
Right, well, here we are then, trackside for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. With Lewis Hamilton with some grid penalties, we are so close to that top 10. In fact, I can even see it. If we get a good start, maybe we could find ourselves in a P10 position very, very early on today. I am expecting qualifying to maybe have been our highlight of the weekend, but like I said, if we can get ourselves in a DRS train, things like that, and hang on for dear life, then that is exactly what I'm going to do here. Waiting on those 5 red lights here on the grid for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. It is lights out and away we go. They're just trying to manage the wheel spin, and we actually do a pretty good job there as Bottas going nowhere. Alonso desperate to try and hang everyone in on the inside. He's going to go 3 wide in front of me down towards turn 1. Contact with Verstappen there as he backs out of it against those 2 Sauber cars. So we made up no progress at all. Zhou Guanyu, though, who started alongside me, absolutely has here off the start of the GP. As I think Verstappen just in a little bit of self-preservation. So we're going to capitalize on that one down the inside. He's going to immediately think, no, thank you, and gets down the inside of Zhou Guanyu himself then. So actually quite a dramatic start here at Imola, as I believe Carlos Sainz has made the move on Checo Perez as well. Up at the front of the field, Verstappen again really, really struggling. So we are going to try and capitalise here on the Dutchman maybe being a bit vulnerable at the start of this one. And down the inside of Aqua Minerale will go. We are into the top 10 of this Grand Prix by putting the move on Max Verstappen on lap 1 there. He's under even more pressure as his former teammate Pierre Gasly fancies a stab at it. So yeah, really, really good start though for us and Zhou Guanyu, both into the points at the Dutchman's expense. Well, that might already then be a bit of a problem here as new fastest laps pouring in up the road. I haven't got the DRS on Zhou Guanyu. I think Verstappen has on me. Oh, he's gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining. Max, what's he gonna do? Absolutely stormed to my outside there down at turn 1. Little bit of wheel banging with the Red Bull. We'll hang on again. It's probably sensibly in our best interest to let him by and just try to hang with him here. But yeah, I'm not sure I want to. Yeah, I think this time around we're probably gonna have to let the Dutchman by. I'm hoping though Pierre Gasly won't find a way through. Oh, Max wants to make it very clear he's going to the inside that time round. As, I mean, we did fight a Red Bull today. I guess that's my clickbaity title sorted. Oh, come on. Just try and hang the car there. We got it. We can't let him get away. That's the other big thing. Well, Max Verstappen then, between this year and the driver career mode, has been the only man that seems to reliably be able to somehow break the laws of physics when it comes to the DRS trains inside this game. So I'm intrigued to know if he can do that today. Looks like Bottas actually and Zhou potentially dropped out of the range of the cars in front of them. But we've actually got enough pace to keep up with Max, at least for the time being. So I'm going to try and recharge the pack slowly. But he might be our key to those Saubers. Oh, there we go. Lap 7. Whoa, okay. I just saw Bottas almost put himself in the pit wall there, as him and Zhou definitely helping the rest of us out further back. I guess, yeah, with Verstappen, Hamilton and Stroll at a position here, kind of a bit like we saw in the driver career mode. It only takes a couple of the front runners to be at a position and unable to make moves through the order before suddenly there's a few of us that actually get a look in at some points. Obviously, we have scored already this season, but it still has only been the win back at Albert Park. I would like to get some actual hard-earned points. Oh, there we go. Verstappen now well inside the range of those 2 Saubers. So are we suddenly going to see the tables turn and maybe him dragging them along? Still side by side back down towards turn 1. Here goes Verstappen, though. No, he doesn't. Tries to have a look to the outside of Zhou, but maybe thinks better of it. And I'll be honest, I wanted to try and get past Max if he was going to try and get past them. Admittedly, yeah, it still seems absolutely ridiculous that you can try and do this with the AI, but we're going to try it. Oh, they all backed into each other down through Aqua Minerale. Are we going to see a window? Verstappen's going to go defensive. Around the outside of the Dutchman. Oh, he gives me a big old squeeze. He actually runs off the circuit. Surely he can't keep hold of the position like that. Max Verstappen does what he wants, apparently. Able to hang on, so a futile attempt there. I mean, I don't know whether he'll be able to get the run on Zhou down towards turn 1. The straight line speed of that Red Bull is like nothing else you'll see in this game. They've still, it feels like inside this game, they've still got a lot of the advantage we saw IRL last year. As Bottas and Zhou once again swapping. Maybe that's their plan. Just keep swapping with each other, so Verstappen never gets a look. I mean, in many ways, I'm happy that both Sauber cars did drop away from the group behind, but on the other hand, it is basically just 2 trains now in this Grand Prix, and I think Iwasa The V-carb's absolutely fallen off in terms of pace.
Approaching the pit window now, and you're going to be on hards next time.
Oh, we are gaining on Max, but are we going to get close enough to Bottas to look for anything? Have a look to the outsiders. Verstappen's going to send it. What on earth is that? Verstappen will make it through. We wanted to try and have a look at the other side of Bottas there, and somehow both kick Saubers. Too busy fighting each other down at turn 1. Verstappen and I will both say thank you very much there. So we are back into the points. Can we still use him to try and get up towards the cars in front? Or is Verstappen about to check out? And are we going to get stuck battling Bottas and Zhou? I have no idea how both of us were able to make that work. Thing is now, I don't actually really want to go for the move on Verstappen because I want to see if we can use him to pull away from those cars behind there as Zhou Guanyu closes back into the braking zone. Not convinced that's going to be the case, actually. I just don't think Verstappen's on it today, which is a very odd thing to say, I know. But the Dutchman, yeah, is really struggling. Yeah, starting to get a little bit worried about our tyre wear.
Push now. Gap to your teammate behind. 11.1 seconds.
Verstappen's just backed out of that. He broke early down in towards turn 1. He did not want to be in front of me in towards that first corner. His team already talking about pitting. Not too sure how I feel about that one. Seems slightly early.
6.0 seconds.
I could be tempted to come in next lap, though, and try to see if we can undercut. But this race has just been so weird so far. Pretty much all thanks to the Dutchman. Well, are we going to see some of the heavy hitters then into the pit lane, or is it just Mark potentially being a little bit too aggressive on the strategy? None of our front runners are going to dive in, so we are going to join them and stay out for another one then. This is our chance for Verstappen and I to get away from Zhou Guanyu behind. We'll let the Dutchman by. Zhou Guanyu is still going to be 9/8 of a second back by the time we make turn 1. Well, Verstappen and I then have just about got Zhou Guanyu out of the DRS range temporarily there, so at least we know that between myself and the Dutchman we have got the pace to get away from that kick Sauber, as into the pit lane will come then. Maybe Max will get held up a little bit here as plenty of cars diving into the pits. The McLaren there making his way back out behind the Ferrari. I think it is still Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz fighting for the lead, as why on earth is a Yumu pit?
Yumu is in the pits now. Okay, let's go now. Come on. Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
I love the fact that's the second time across the series recently that I've been able to jump Max Verstappen in the pit lane. I might genuinely be his worst nightmare in Formula 1 right now, because we keep stopping him from having an easy time of things, and I embrace that. He will get straight back past me, but we do need to work together, because we might have the gap on Pierre, but everyone else then into the pit lane at the very next lap, so I think it is going to be, yeah, that Ferrari car out in the lead.
Tyres are approaching the cliff. Let's push and see if we can use this to our advantage. Come on.
Yep, they've all boxed anyway now. Marks, that's pretty irrelevant, as here goes Max again, flying past me back down towards turn 1. I mean, we're in P9. I would take 2 points from this Grand Prix rather happily. But, you know, always trying to think of what more can you get. Could Max carry us to that next group? I think this race absolutely just personifies what is kind of the issue with F1 24. With a DRS zone like this at Imola that is so powerful, as long as I'm less than a second a lap slower than Max, which we are, because obviously the performance deltas are so close between every single team, we can just romp away from the likes of Bottas and Gasly behind that are still locked into battle and close in on some of those cars in front, just because Verstappen has got those extra 3-4 tenths over everybody else in this series. I mean, we're working together, kind of. I think he'd desperately like to get rid of me if he could, but he's not normally an ally of mine. But if he is today, then I'm not going to knock it. As the engine warning light comes on, all I'm going to say is the second half of this race could be very, very boring unless we can actually try and go for a move, because otherwise it's in our best interest just to sit behind him until the very last lap. Verstappen then, just following him around for a couple of laps here, you can absolutely see why he seems to have that advantage over everybody else. It's the way he's able to just pull off the corners. You know, it's probably just an element of, you know, kind of what the AI do in this game.
4.8 seconds.
But it honestly feels like he's got either slightly more grip or slightly more power, or even a combination of the two. Now, obviously it's a game, so it's kind of how it allows him to usually deliver better than any other driver. But it is quite funny because it's harder to keep up with him in the traction zones than anybody else I've ever seen on this game. And maybe also will explain why we did quite well in Canada, because of course there aren't that many really low-speed traction zones around that venue. Oh, here we go. Might actually get a run on the Dutchman down towards turn 1, right on the outside of Verstappen. Oh, that time around he wanted to fight it a little bit more, but we'll get clean around him. And that's the worst possible thing for him. He is dragging me along right now, so unless I don't feel I've got a chance against any of the other AI, it's now ideal for us to overtake him. If I feel like I've got a shot against anybody else, then probably better off letting him get on with it again. But I'm here for my own race at the end of the day. As here comes Max again up the top of the hill. No chance there, sunshine. We've given Verstappen a lot of stick today about struggling to make his way through the order, but Hamilton now, he's not been very good either and has finally made it to the front of kind of the back markers, if you will. So just monitoring to see if he's going to be able to start closing in the gaps on us again. I'm sure I'm just about to wave goodbye to Max Verstappen, so I'm going to make it easy for him. Don't want to make myself too much of an enemy too early in this series. Dutchman will make it back through again. But yeah, we're both taking a lot of time out of Russell. 7 laps to go then, and now I'm really, really interested to see what Verstappen's going to be able to do. Is he going to be able to start carving his way through this front group? He's had no extra pace over me all day long.
Yeah, the car in front, let's get past him.
I mean, down the front straight, he does have a lot more pace than me still at this point of the afternoon. But yeah, have we just been kind of dragged back in by Perez and the Ferraris? Or are we now going to see that actually Verstappen's been rapid and we have just been hanging on to him? Well, I think, yeah, it's Perez and I believe Carlos Sainz that are just constantly going side by side down in towards turn 1 then. I haven't really heard any confirmation about either of them, to be honest. Oh no, I don't know what I said! Mark, I'm sorry if I insulted you. That's not what I intended.
Okay, you're in ninth position. Verstappen's ahead of you. Less than a second separates you. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. That's Hamilton behind. Okay, so gap to the car behind, 8.7 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Okay, so gap to the leader, 3.2 seconds. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. Okay, just 5 laps until the end.
None of what Mark just told me there was useful at all. None of that was helpful information. I love F1 24. Well, I think then very late on in the day, the only way we might be able to find a way around Verstappen is if we charge at the pack and try and go for a run back down towards turn 1 there. The AI get pretty much past the kind of start lights and then come off of their battery. So it's a little bit odd the way they do things around this venue. And of course, you know, one of the benefits of being at the back of this train, we've just been able to kind of study things and work out where they're strong, where they're not. I do very much feel like we've kind of ended up in a group that I don't belong in this race, you know, battling it out with Mercs, Red Bulls, that kind of thing. So thank you to Max Verstappen for that. But you can see, yeah, pretty much now, Verstappen's going to start trying to recharge up his battery. So next time round, we're going to continue to try and drain the battery pack down in towards turn 1 and see if we can make any last lap maneuvers. Well, about to start then the final lap of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Will it be Red Bull? Will it be Ferrari at the front of the field taking the victory here today as we're going to roll on that battery at the final corner? And I'm not going to come off it until we get into that braking zone at turn 1. Staying closer to Verstappen this time round. As you can see, I think he's worked out what we're doing. To the outside, though, of the Dutchman. Are we going to be able to make the move happen? Yes, we are. And Max Verstappen, we have battled him from the start to the finish this afternoon. But, well, unless we do something stupid now, it looks like we are going to be the one able to capitalise. Imola has been very, very good to us in both series inside this game. But ultimately, you know, it has taken a lot of strategy. And I think especially with this car, it has really, really suited this venue. Gives me confidence as we head to Monaco next weekend that this thing actually feels very, very raceable on the higher downforce circuits, which of course we haven't had many of in the first quarter of this season, but trying to use the battery as well. You see Russell struggling. There might be more freebies to have here by the end of the afternoon as locking up. But around the outside we'll go with George Russell as well. And now are we going to be able to get close to Fernando Alonso? Looks like he's maybe has just kept a little bit more energy in his battery pack as well. Final couple of corners though, Charles Leclerc is going to win here at Imola for Ferrari. Their first win around this venue since 2004. Leclerc back on top. We come through for P7 and big points.
It's a performance that our Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix winners can be justifiably proud of, and I'm sure there'll be celebrations tonight.
To come here and take victory as a team today on home soil was so important. You can see how much it means to them. The drivers there doing their part, the team's strategy was perfect as well, and the fans really embraced that. What a great atmosphere we had here today.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit, familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again.
Well, once again then, I think Imola has delivered itself as pure F1 24. Yeah, no way. No way, really, should we have been able to get there right at the end. But we did kind of see out how things were panning out between the AI. So happy we were able to get past Russell and Max Verstappen on the final lap of the GP there. Charles Leclerc, though, I'm sure ecstatic to finally win around the circuit that bears Ferrari's names for the Maranello-based organisation there. Sergio Perez P2 ahead of Norris and Carlos Sainz there, with Oscar Piastri, I'm sure, a little bit disappointed after getting the better of his teammate in qualifying. But finally, more points for us. We are absolutely going to take it and run there. And as we head to Monaco next weekend, hopefully we can try and continue that run of form up. I'll be honest, we're basically just trying to make sure that we finish P10 in the Drivers' Championship this series. But even if we'd, taken out those 25 points for the win, we'd still be tied with Lance Stroll as well there. So I reckon if we're more than 25 ahead of Bottas by the end of the year, then I'll be really, really happy with that as well. They're still 6th as well, obviously, in the Constructors. I think that one's looking pretty well locked down as well there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the jewel in the crown. It's almost time for the Monaco Grand Prix.